Originally, I come from the Bronx. I lived within a long homer from Yankee Stadium, a very long homer. And I grew up automatically loving the Yankees. My uncles and my father would listen to it on the radio, and it was like a given.
At about 5 or 6, we moved from Manhattan to the Bronx. And I became a Yankee fan because everyone was a Yankee fan. However, when we visit my family in Yorkville, I was strictly New York Giants fan. So I had a dual pull in both directions.
I'm a Yankee fan because we lived in Highbridge near the stadium. And when the wind was blowing right, you could hear the cheers from the fan come to Highbridge.
As a child, I was the only one in my neighborhood who was a New York Giants fan. But when they left for California, I said I couldn't reconcile that loss, and I became a Yankee fan. I remember for the first time going to the stadium. It was like going to a cathedral or monument, you know? It made quite an impression on me.
When you walk from the public area up the ramps and come out to the beautiful green of the lawn and the white of the facade, it was like going to a cathedral. It broke my heart when they said they were going to knock that down.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Beautiful. In fact, I sat always in the front row because my nephew used to get me tickets. And I always sat in back of the home plate there. In fact, one time I almost got hit with a ball. And then they gave me the ball.
Well, the first time I went, I seen all those flags, all the world champions. Because I had a cousin, and I really didn't know that the Yankees had that many flags and whatnot. He used to always tell me about Boston, because he used to live in Boston, brag about the Boston had the most pennants out of world champions out of any sports. I said, so when I went to that first game, I seen all them pennants the Yankees got. And I think that was like, they had around 19 and 20 back in the 60s. Because he was older than me. I said, you told me that Boston have the most championships out of all sports. I said, the team that got the most is the New York Yankees. I said, how? He said, how you know? Because I didn't know till I went to the game and seen the pennants for myself.
My uncle took me to see Babe Ruth in the late 20s, probably about 29. I was about 8 years old, and I saw Babe Ruth hit 2 home runs in one game. And ever since then, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah, we sat there waiting for Babe Ruth to hit a home run, you know? But I was, for some reason, I thought more carefully about the game, and I simply, you know, I was comfortable with Lou Gehrig, you know? I just sat back, you know, and I just enjoyed watching him.
The earliest memory I have of the Yankees, when they gave Lou Gehrig the doubleheader, and they honored him, heard it on the radio, and he said he felt he was the luckiest man in the world. I remember that.
Jay, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I remember him with his streak playing first base. That's how far back I go. It's a long time ago.
I thought it was like they were in first place every year. They went to the World Series every year. I thought this is the way it was at, you know, 9 years old, 10 years old, you know. And we always got there in time for batting practice. And I remember when Mantle would come up for batting practice, even the opposing team would stop and watch.
Oh, Derek Jeter. He's been not only good as a baseball player, but I think that he has been a wonderful role model. I remember I was at the first game that he played in Yankee Stadium, and the girls were going crazy. Derek, Derek, look at me.
I have a Derek Jeter ball. We had season tickets right behind the dugout. So I used to take my daughter down, and she would get autographs from everybody. And she even went down one time to get autographs. And he goes, "Oh, your daughter's so cute." He picked her up and took her to the rest of the Yankees to get autographs. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is great, Alexis. You remember this for the rest of your life?"
I had a lot of favorite. Whitey Ford. One of my favorites, Elton Howard, Yogi Bell.
Well, I went for Mantle, Mickey Mantle, and DiMaggio was always. I went for all the Yankees. Whitey Ford. They were a religion. I mean, they could do no wrong.
I still root for them. I'm going to watch tonight. They're playing the Cubs in Chicago at 8 o'clock.
Well, I think it's a huge role in the current lives of residents. People watch it. There's certain residents here that you go in their room and there's pictures up and pennants and calendars and just everything that ties them back to that. They get very passionate about it. And it's good conversation of people watching a game. If you walk the halls of the Hebrew home at night, you know, you'll hear it. You'll hear it in the hallways. You'll hear it in the lounges. You know, the game's on, or coming out of people's rooms, you'll see the glow of the TV. It's just, you know, they really do connect to it.
I don't miss a game. I argue with people upstairs because there's a lot of Boston fans up there, and you know how they are.
Truthfully, I'm adjusting to the new players, and hopefully they'll put it together. You know, it's not like yesteryear, but I'm trying to make the best of it with them.
I have a custom-made jersey. It has I'm number 10 on my jersey because that's my birthday is in October, so I have number 10, and I have Gibbs on the back.
My three kids still are staunch Yankee fans. My young daughter, well, she's not younger, she's 54 now. She called me I don't know, she was in Toronto, and they won a big game up in Toronto. And she calls me on the phone from Toronto. You know, she was on business. And Daddy, we won. You know, that's how far we go back with the Yanks.
My daughter, I took her to a Cleveland game, and she saw Roger Maris. To this day, she's still talking about it, and she's in her 50s.
The early memories are my first game, in which my dad and I went down. It was against Detroit, and I was about 6 years old, and that's pretty much when I fell in love and had that connection with my father that has lasted, you know, most of my whole life.
I was married in 1956, which is a millennium ago. And my first anniversary gift to my husband was memorizing the lineup of the Yankees.
Well, my husband died shortly after my kids were born, and I became a Yankee fan, and it gave me something for the children, they were 2 and 3, to later cling to. It became a family, and it was the Yankee family. And over a period of years, when they were about 12, I got Yankees tickets, and we've been going ever since. And today, my oldest son is taking his young son to Yankee Stadium as well. And it's just part of being a family. and we follow the Yankees to a blue in the face, I regret to say. And I think it's wonderful.
Baseball is a connection that, and a gift that my father gave and shared with me. And now that he's not here, even till this day, when I watch a game or I'm at the stadium working, you know, I know that he's with me, and I know that, you know, he's sharing those moments along with me.